Hello, welcome to another episode of Sewing in Scripture. Today we're going to be going over Revelation, chapters 13 and 14. As a reminder, all of the readings that we're doing today from Scripture are going to be coming from the NIV version of the Bible, and everything that I'm going to be talking about as far as the study portions are coming from the King James Version of the Bible, study Bible. So all of that extra stuff that I'm going to be talking about, that's where that's coming from. I would also like to request that you go ahead and get a pen and paper for this, because there are a lot of references to Old Testament scriptures that may not necessarily make sense now, but if you go back and look at them and see exactly what they're talking about, it'll make much more sense. Plus, since we'll be going over the book of Daniel next, you'll have a little bit of a head start, especially when you're talking about things from the book of Daniel here in Revelation. Also, I would like to add that if you're enjoying these videos, go ahead and hit that thumbs up down at the bottom, give us a like. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure you're hitting that notification bell. YouTube is not going to tell you that new videos are dropping unless you let them know to let you know when those next videos come out. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it today. We're going to be going again over chapters 13 and 14 in the book of Revelation. Let's begin with chapter 13. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast its power and his throne and great authority. The sea here represents the Gentile nations of the world, which from this beast comes. The beast is the Antichrist, the false Messiah. He is the final Gentile world ruler, also known as the little horn, the willful king, the coming prince, the man of sin. In Revelation, he is both a person and an empire. The description of the beast is closely both to the dragon and to the fourth beast of Daniel in chapter 7, or the Roman Empire, though his actions show him to be somewhat distinct from both. He speaks blasphemy against God. His resemblances to a leopard, a bear, and a lion refer to the first 3 beasts in the vision in Daniel chapter 7. The beast includes the people and cultures of the 3 previous empires and is an outgrowth of the Roman Empire itself. The power and authority of the beast come from Satan himself. Satan has his own false trinity. Satan acts as the Father, the Antichrist as the Son, and the false prophet as the Spirit, who attempts to bring glory to the Antichrist. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. People worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, "Who is like the beast? Who can wage war against it?" The beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. The wound may refer either to the apparent death of the Antichrist himself, of the decline and disappearance of the Roman Empire. The healing of the wound may be either the resurrection of the Antichrist or the revival of the Roman Empire. One of his heads is apparently the Roman Empire. The revival causes amazement throughout the world. The mouth depicts the blasphemy of the Antichrist against worldwide authority for 42 months or 3.5 years, the last half of the tribulation. It opened its mouth to blaspheme God and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. The unbelievers of the world will be deceived into believing that the beast is a god. Only those whose names are written in the book of life will refuse to worship the beast. The beast will persecute the saints of God and exercise power throughout the world. The Lamb was slain from the foundation of the world in the sense that Christ's redemptive death for mankind was part of God's plan from eternity. Whoever has ears, let them hear. If anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. This calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people. God will punish those who do evil. The beast and his followers will be overthrown and judged. Patience is perseverance or endurance. Those who have genuine saving faith will endure all the persecution of the beast because they are God's saints or holy ones. Then I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. The second beast is the false prophet, whose role is to bring people to worship the first beast. He is a deceiver. His 2 horns, like a lamb, represent an attempt to give the impression of gentle harmlessness. His dragon speech depicts his empowerment by Satan. He is given full exercise of the power of the first beast, who is the political ruler. His priestly role identifies him as a religious leader or power. He promotes global worship of the Antichrist. And it performed great sins, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword, yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image would speak and cause all who refuse to worship the image to be killed. The false prophet deceives the unbelievers of the earth by means of wonders and miracles, accomplished through satanic power. He will produce the miracles of Elijah, and as a false Elijah, he will lead people to worship a false Messiah. The image of the beast will apparently be set up in Jerusalem for the worship of the beast. Jesus called it the abomination of desolation. The ability of the image to speak is a satanic miracle. The people of the earth must either worship the image of the beast or be killed. There will be no room in the beast's empire for religious freedom. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Only unbelievers will receive the mark of the beast. The mark will be placed either on the right hand or on the forehead, both very visible places. No one will be able to buy or sell anything without having submitted to the political and religious system of the beast. The word mark is often used to describe an image, stamp, brand, or other mark. According to verse 17, the mark of the beast may be the name of the beast, the number of the beast, 666, the number of imperfection or humanity, a number that represents the Antichrist's name, which will be recognized by believers during the tribulation period. A number derived from the Hebrew of Caesar Nero, or Kaiser Neron, who prefigured the Antichrist in his evil actions. Now we're going to move on to chapter 14. Then I looked, and there before me was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. The Lamb is Christ, and Mount Zion is the location of Jerusalem. It may refer either to New Jerusalem or earthly Jerusalem during the millennium. The 144,000 are the same as in chapter 7. Chapter 14 is designed to give encouragement concerning the certainty of Christ's victory over the beast. And I heard a sound from heaven like the roar of rushing waters and like a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like that of harpists playing their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne and before the four living creatures and the elders. No one could learn the song except for the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. These are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they remained virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They were purchased from among mankind and offered as first fruits to God and the Lamb. No lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless. The 144,000 sing a new song of worship and redemption. The four beasts and elders are the same as in chapters 4. That is, the 144,000 were virgins and not defiled with women may indicate either celibacy and sexual purity, or moral and religious purity, as they have refused to submit to the false religious system of the false prophet. They follow the Lamb and reign with him. As the first fruits of the redeemed, they are the first to be saved during the tribulation period following the rapture of the church. A characteristic of the redeemed is that they are without guile or falsehood, meaning they do not lie and deceive. This may refer to their rejection of the false claims of the Antichrist concerning himself. That they are without fault or blemish means that they are ethically blameless. When I saw another angel flying in midair, and he had the eternal gospel to proclaim to those who live on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. He said in a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and the springs of water." A second angel followed and said, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, which made all the nations drink the maddening wine of her adulteries." The eternal gospel is the good news that Christ will win and the beast will be judged. Positively, it focuses on redemption through Christ and the coming of his kingdom. Negatively, it has 3 parts. 1, the hour of his judgment has come. 2, Babylon has fallen. 3, those who worship the beast will be punished forever. The whole world is commanded to fear and worship God and to give glory to him. The identity and destruction of Babylon is described in the upcoming chapters 17 and 18. The announcement here anticipates later events. A third angel followed them and said in a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image and receives its mark on their forehead or on their hand, they too will drink the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. They will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever. There will be no rest day or night for those who worship the beast and its image, or for anyone who receives the mark of its name." Unbelievers during the tribulation will receive the mark of the beast and worship him. They will all receive God's eternal punishment in the lake of fire or tormented with burning sulfur. The wine of the wrath of God is God's righteous anger poured out in full strength, without mixture or dilution, on those who reject him. The cup of his indignation symbolizes the place of God's punishment of sinners. The fact that this torment will take place in the presence of Christ and his angels makes the punishment even more intense and shameful. They will pay the eternal price of having chosen Satan and evil over God and righteousness. This calls for patient endurance on the part of the people of God who keep his commands and remain faithful to Jesus. Then I heard a voice from heaven say, write this. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, they will rest from their labor, for their deeds will follow them." Patience here is perseverance or endurance. The assurance of the judgment of God's enemies is a basis for the observance of the tribulation believers to continue following Christ. The perseverance of genuine believers in the faith and in the commandments of God is assumed and guaranteed. The dead, which die in the Lord from this point forward, are tribulation martyrs, and they will be blessed through rest, resurrection, and reigning with Christ during the millennium. They will receive a reward for their obedience. I looked, and there before me was a white cloud, and seated on the cloud was one like a son of man with a crown of gold, and his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Then another angel came out of the temple and called in a loud voice to him who was sitting on the cloud, "Take your sickle and reap, because the time to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is ripe." So he who was seated on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. The Son of Man is Christ, the Messiah. The cloud relates to Christ's second coming. The crown pictures him as ruler of the earth, and the sickle symbolizes judgment as an instrument of harvest. The time has come to finish the judgment of the earth. The second coming of Christ includes more judgment. To reap and harvest the earth is to judge and punish its people. Another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. Still another angel who had charge of the fire came from the altar and came in a loud voice to him who had the sharp sickle. "Take your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of grapes from the earth's vine, because its grapes are ripe." The angel swung his sickle on the earth, gathered its grapes, and threw them into the great winepress of God's wrath. They were trampled in the winepress outside the city, and blood flowed out of the press, rising as high as the horses' bridles for a distance of 1,600 stadia. Whereas verses 14 through 16 picture Christ's judgment as a grain harvest, verses 17 through 20 symbolize the wrath of God as a grape harvest, with the treading of the grape clusters in an immense winepress. Again, the sickle depicts judgment. The clusters of the vine of the earth represent the unbelievers of the earth, who have followed and worshipped the beast. Its grapes are fully ripe means that the time for God's judgment of the earth is now. The winepress of the wrath of God pictures the violence and intensity of God's coming judgment on the earth. The city is probably Jerusalem, and if so, the greatest intensity of the judgment may be centered in Palestine. Perhaps the reference is to the coming battle of Armageddon. The blood may be either the red juice of the grapes or literal human blood, resulting from the final battle. The amount of blood that results from the winepress emphasizes the severity of the judgment. 1,600 stadia are approximately 184 miles, the full length of Palestine at that time. The winepress may be an anticipation of the vial or bowl judgments of chapter 16, as we will see soon. So that concludes today's Bible study. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Again, go ahead and give that thumbs up button a press, give us a like. Be sure to subscribe to this channel and make sure that you're ringing that notification bell. Also, be sure to leave me a comment below. I always like reading comments from people, good or bad. Just let me know you've been here and say hi. And again, we'll see you next time for another Bible study with Sewing in Scripture. Have a blessed and wonderful day.